The Knicks do the Undertaker meme and stay alive in the East. Did the Thunder win the title last night? Is Cade Cunningham a superstar? Which playoff players changed our opinions the most? And Locked On Lakers and Celtics are wiling out on the trade machine. Matt and Haize are here to rain down judgment on their fake trades. That's all today on a jam-packed Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free. We are available wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories with the help of Locked On's local experts. And I have two of the best with me, as always. From the Locked On Nuggets podcast and senior NBA writer for the Action Network, it's Matt Moore. Matt, you were very careful on yesterday's show to say that the Knicks were not dead yet, but they were on life support, and I did not expect them to leap out of the hospital bed and start suplexing doctors and nurses. How shocked are you?
Not at all. Teams in that spot win about 70% of the time. It's really great today seeing all the reactions, Doug. Oh, the Knicks are back. You know what happened? Yeah, it's a dead cat bounce. That's like the death spasm. That's what happens. Oh, one more for the home fans. Timothy Chalamet and Ben Stiller get to have one more feel-good night. That's nice. We'll talk about it a little bit, but the trends do not say the same thing about Game 6 in Indy.
Dead cat bounce? Was that on purpose? Did I just see what you did there? Was that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Very good. And from the Locked On Bulls podcast, we've got Haize. Haize, a source tells the Chicago Sun-Times that Karnisovas, the GM there in Chicago, and his front office would have offered anyone and everyone on the roster had the Mavs made Luka available. But even then, it wouldn't have been better than what the Lakers gave the Mavericks. How does that make you feel?
You know what? We've earned it. Like we've struggled as a franchise for so long. We've earned it. But come on now. Come on. We could have offered something better than what they got from Dallas. What they got from LA. Come on now.
All right. Well, Haize, I can guarantee you this. You can't feel any worse than the Pacers, who get exiled from the Garden in biblical fashion in Game 5. Brunson, 35-5-5. Towns, 24-13. Locked On Knicks host Alex Wolf and Gavin Shaw take you inside how the Knicks' Big Two have the Knicks in Game 6.
I thought the single biggest thing here for Brunson was when those shots are going down, the Knicks actually get to set their defense, right? You don't see Indiana running. You don't see them screaming in transition. They never really found that rhythm or that pace.
Yeah, and credit to them, too, for making the double big work a little more on offense as well. The Knicks consistently, and Brunson consistently looking to drive and kick out to Cat and then let Cat attack a tilted defense like he destroyed.
They haven't been able to guard him, and I don't really remember a conference finals where a second option was just like this completely unstoppable. I mean, for this series, like I don't know if people realize like how dominant he's been. 25 points, 12 rebounds, 53% from the field, 42% from three, 81% from the line, whether it's Turner, whether it's Siakam, whether it's Bradley, whether it's Bryant, like he just mows through these guys.
They're sending an army at this guy, and it's like the Avengers line. They're like, well, we have an army. Well, we have a cat.
All right, so Alex gives us the Avengers analogy. We have the dead cat bounce from Matt Moore, so we'll throw it to Haize. We'll throw it to you first. Give the orange thing to the really good shooty hoopers. Why didn't they just do this all along?
If only it was that simple. I mean, this was a game where they were motivated, and it was good to see. Like it's fun. Make it a little interesting here. Now, if I'm the Pacers, I said it before. The Pacers need to get this series over and done with as quick as possible. The last thing you want to do is allow the Knicks to push it to 7. You didn't even want to let them push it to 6, and now you don't have as much rest or you don't have as much preparation as what the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to have. So, but it was an inspired victory by the Knicks, and those fans needed that. And it's great to see. But they're DOA still. They're not going to win this series.
They ran more isolation than pick and roll in Game 5 for the first time this series. This is always something I think that's really fascinating is when you start to realize that, hey, almost always like getting our guy in space off a screen is always good. Not always if you can't actually beat that coverage. If you're able to just take the one-on-one matchup and attack that and you're actually better off, that sometimes is the better kind of move here. Now, the problem is like you've played that card. And now, because the Pacers in game 5 have to be like, all right, well, they're running ISO, but like we still want to keep with our main coverage here. And now in game 5, they get to be like, all right, well, they did this, so let's counter with this. Like this is the first like major adjustment that the Pacers will have to make, and they'll make it, and then we'll see what happens. And if the Pacers play like absolute dog feces at home and a chance to eliminate and go to the finals, then the Knicks can force a game 7. Well, they'll have another chance to whiz down their leg. But we'll see what happens in game 6.
All right, let's flip it to Tony East, who did not hold back on just how bad the Pacers starters were in game 5, calling out Tyrese Haliburton in particular.
The thing that I thought was the most alarming for the Pacers, and it was their starting 5 being just awful. They couldn't stop the Knicks starters. They couldn't score at all. This was an offensive loss to me, but that group couldn't defend either. And Haliburton is the biggest part of this because he is the head of the snake. So that is where I think this is a Haliburton discussion, even though the story of the game to me was the entire unit really struggling. When Haliburton can't play the way he wants, everybody says Tyrese Haliburton needs to be aggressive. And they always point to his shot count and the record and all this stuff. And like, there's something to that. But when you ask Tyrese Haliburton about being aggressive, he doesn't see it that way. He sees it as getting 2 feet in the paint. When he can do that, he can get shots he likes. He can get his teammates shots they like. And the Pacers offense flows the best.
Matt, you mentioned Pacers adjustment. Is the adjustment just Tyrese be more aggressive? Was he too passive in game 5?
So you get used to tempo and rhythm, right? And you get used to how teams guard you. And the Jared Dubin had this from last night in basketball, that the Knicks pickup point on Tyrese Haliburton went from about 40 feet to 52. And that's a huge difference. They were picking him up before half court in order to pressure him. Okay, so what happens then? Well, you force more turnovers. 20 turnovers the Knicks forced last night. Now, they only scored 15 points off of those turnovers, so it wasn't this huge problem, but it did keep the Pacers out of rhythm. The issue here is, like, what's a good counter to that? Oh, you just beat the press by being more aggressive and getting downhill. Do you really want to try and get into, like, do you want to try and speed up the Pacers? Do you think that that's a long-term sustainable strategy, Case? Because I personally do not. It's another sign where I'm like, oh, that's really cool that they pulled this off in game 5. Yeah, that's not going to work going forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was great that they were able to do it. And like I said, for the fans, for us to have a conversation, it's all great, but it's not anything that I would expect to be sustainable. If it is, great. Like, I mean, then we're going to have ourselves a series unexpectedly here after a team goes down 3-1. But I don't think the thing that's made the Pacers so dangerous in this is how well coached they are, how well prepared they are. And I think Rick Carlisle is going to go back to the drawing board. He's going to have them. He's going to make an adjustment to the adjustment, and we're going to see them beat the Knicks here in game 6 and be over and done with and prepare for the finals.
Okay, so both of you confident that this series is effectively over. If we look beyond this series, let's just assume the Pacers win. Is this stumble here? Is this a stumble, or is it a serious issue, this game 5? What are you going to be watching in the early stages of game 6 that could make you confident, whether you think the Thunder are going to win or not, that the Pacers could even make it a competitive finals? Haize, we'll start with you.
That's the question here, right? I don't give the Pacers much of a chance to make the finals overall competitive, and I think the Thunder are just too good, too well prepared. They're at the height of their powers right now. But if the Pacers want to, they're going to have to double down on being extremely efficient offensively and locking in defensively. But the offense is going to have to be a key thing here. They cannot allow the Thunder to take away what they do the best. And it's going to come down to Tyrese Haliburton is going to have to be the hub of the offense. Doesn't mean he's always going to have to score a bunch of points, but the way that he runs that offense is going to be hugely important if they want to make this a series against the Thunder. Because right now, I got them winning the game, and that's probably it.
Yeah, take a look at this game. This is the script, right? 20 turnovers for the Pacers, for a team that never turns the ball over, but the Oklahoma City Thunder don't care. They just take the ball away from you. Take the results of this game and multiply it by about 1.5, right? Because that's about the Thunder are about 50% better than the Knicks are. And so that to me is like what this looks like, and they'll probably look like this throughout the series. Now, like, look, I think the biggest thing for me, if they make the finals, is going to be they got to steal game 1. They got to rob them in game 1. We saw it in that Nuggets series. It flips the entire script because you're going to lose in game 2 by about 25 to 40. Okay, then you get back for game 3, and game 3 in the finals, first home finals game since 2000. That's a great spot. You win that game, and you're in the same spot as the Nuggets. And then your hope is that you have more in the gas tank at the end to either steal 5 or 7 than the Nuggets did. That's the only way you're going to be able to do this, because you're losing twice to the Thunder, at least twice in OKC by 25 or more. You just have to bake that into your game plan. It'll all be about game one and whether the Pacers can surprise them with how they play. But again, they got to get there first.
All right, so the Knicks trying to change the perspective on their series and their team. Which players have changed the perspective of Matt and Haize the most with their playoff performances? I'll ask them that ahead. Plus, later on in the show, fake trade court. Our Locked On local hosts have been busy on the trade machines. I'll ask Matt and Haize to judge the results. That's coming up on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, it is playoff season, and DoorDash is turning big-time buckets into big-time bites. With Dash Pass, you can cash in when the stars show out. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50-plus points in a playoff game, Dash Pass members score a free 3-piece Crispy Tenders combo from Wingstop the next day. Just place a $20 or more order and use code WINGSTOP50 and you are eating good. Offer valid from noon to midnight next day. Terms apply. My go-to after a big game, got to be wings and a highlight replay playlist. This deal just makes it even sweeter. Dash Pass means $0 delivery fees, perks just like this, and savings all season long. Don't miss out. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready the next time someone drops a 50-piece. That's Dash Pass, your door to more flavor, more savings, and more ways to win. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks again for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. We are almost down to the final 2 teams. There's more room in the NBA content creation diet for some retrospectives, including Nick Wright of Fox Sports, who put out his latest edition of the club superstar rankings, where players go in, players go out, top 12 players in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell is in the club. Cade Cunningham is not, and that did not sit well with Locked On Pistons host Kuka Hill. Take a listen.
Argument for Cade over Donovan Mitchell. I think Cade's a better defender. I think he's a better playmaker. And I think Donovan Mitchell kind of got put into this club and kind of being considered this way simply because he was on a fantastic team. I think you can make the argument again. Cade's a better defender. I think he's a better playmaker. I think he can lead a bad team or lead an average team. If he wasn't surrounded by as much talent as he was with Cleveland, could he do what, like if you put Donovan Mitchell on this Pistons team, do the Pistons have the same type of success? I'm not sure. I'm not sure they do, because they fed a lot off of Cade's playmaking and his ability to be an impact defensive player. So I think you can make an argument for Cade over Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, Matt, does Koo have a point? Can you make the case for Cade over Donovan Mitchell in your superstar rankings?
No. Cade has one playoff series. One. And I don't care that he lost. He played great in that series, but you got to do it more. Like Donovan Mitchell has dropped 50 in a playoff series. Donovan Mitchell has taken teams deeper in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell's won more playoff series. Donovan Mitchell has been consistently on great teams. Donovan Mitchell has honestly been probably closer to an MVP ballot than he has been like outside of all NBA. Like he's been great. He's been phenomenal. He is a terrific playmaker. He is an incredibly efficient scorer. All the advanced metrics kind of back this up. Cade's amazing, and Cade's probably going to get there. I think Cade can be in time a better player than Donovan Mitchell. But right now, no. Like we have to reward. You can't just get credit for having done the thing one time. Like you got to do the thing repeatedly. This is a thing. So you have to do. You got to build a reputation and a resume here. The resume isn't long enough for Cade to be in there over Donovan.
Yeah, I think this is the thing that we all kind of can fall into a trap of when it's players on our team. We can look at them through the lens of who we see them becoming, and activists. That's who they are right now. Cade is on the uptick. He's going to be a star in this league. Like this, that's what this season proved. But he's not on Donovan Mitchell's level yet. He's not there yet. He has to do it for longer. He has to do it more consistently. He has to do it in bigger scenarios. He has to get another playoff run under his belt before I'd be willing to say that. Now, to Matt's point, and Matt said it, like he's going to get there. I have no doubts that he's trending that way. He's just not there yet, and that's perfectly fine. The beauty of it is going to be watching the journey of him getting there. That's going to be the fun part of it.
Okay, so neither of you willing to put him into a superstar ranking yet, but I want to stay with these retrospectives and stick to the playoffs. I want to know which player changed your opinion of them the most through the playoffs so far and which player cemented it. So, Matt, we'll start with you. Which player's postseason performance most changed your opinion? Could be positive, could be negative, of what kind of player you thought they were or could be.
God, this is such a good question. I think at least you got to give Julius Randle credit for not being a complete zero. Like he was helpful for them in 2 rounds. He had a rough one versus the Thunder. Most guys are going to have rough ones versus the Thunder. I'm pretty lenient there. And I think that Randle, having shown that he is at least capable of contributing to a team that can win a playoff series, that he's not the guy you have to bench, I think that's significant. So I'm going to go with Julius Randle.
This is a great question. Honestly, and again, this is a player that I wasn't extremely high on. Is Jay Will. Jay Will, I always knew he was an extremely talented player and a player that could be amazing. But like what he did and his poise at times on both sides of the ball, defensively throughout this is like I think Matt said it, is like you can see him winning Finals MVP. I don't know if I ever thought that before. I don't ever know if I would have thought that he could legitimately be a player that in the series can walk away winning his Finals MVP because of the way that he's playing. Now it's probably going to go to Shea. Jay Will's done a huge thing for me to turn around on how I feel about him, as well as I wanted to pick Julius Randle here, and I wanted to pick Anthony Edwards too, but the way that they fell apart there, I couldn't give it to either one of those guys. Tyrese Haliburton too is another guy I could throw out.
I was just going to say, it feels weird to do that off of that Game 5, but certainly when you look over the entire course of these playoffs, Tyrese has moved the needle, I think, on what people think about him. And just a very role player-y one, Andrew Nembhard. I mean, he's so vital to what they do as a team. So I would throw him into the conversation as well. All right, let's flip it. Which player's postseason performance most cemented your opinion of what kind of player you thought they were or could be? And again, this could be sort of in a positive or negative light. Haize, we'll start with you.
Alex Caruso, man, like he's so big in the, like what he did at times guarding Jokic. Alex Caruso's been one of those players that while he was in Chicago, we all appreciated. And I'm glad that he's gotten to be on a bigger stage now and get more people talking about how good he is. Alex Caruso is such a consummate role player. He does everything that you need to do as far as dirty work, all that type of thing. And no matter, you could ask him to go guard Shaq and he'd find a way to do it. Like that's the type of player that he is. So I'm for somebody I've always been high on, I'm just glad that it seems like now the world's starting to understand more how special of a player that Alex Caruso is.
One good, two bad. Good as Tyrese Haliburton. I thought he was this good. I thought he was this impactful. I think that he shapes games. I'm okay with the fact that he had a rough Game 5 in a really bad spot, in which this was always going to kind of be the case. The Knicks were going to win one for the Gipper or whatever, win one for Stiller, I guess, in Game 5. I'm not shaken by that. I think Tyrese Haliburton shapes the game as much as anybody, and I thought he was capable of this. I got so much flack for where I had him in my top 100 rankings last summer, and I am just devouring those receipts right now. It is giving me sustenance in life. For a bad, about Jimmy Butler, who I always say, hey, playoff Jimmy's great if you're playing the Milwaukee Bucks, but other than that, you can only count on him about 1 out of every 4 games. Wah, wah. Like, look, made a bunch of finals, or not a bunch, made 2 finals, 1 with a kind of fluke run, had one really great team in 2022, but overall, Jimmy Butler is not the guy that he is made out to be. That is not the case. And then on the negative side, I think I got to go. This is hard. I know how hurt he was. I know it was turf toe. Man, am I worried about Darius Garland in the playoffs. Like, I'm just really worried about a guy that small with his usage, with everything. He had such a great season, and he did have turf toe, and I want to give him a break, but I need Darius to have a great playoff series to get my mind out of the idea that maybe he's not a 16 gamer.
All right, let us know what you think. Go ahead, Haize.
No, I was just saying that's a nice list.
Yeah. All right, let us know what you think on YouTube, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA. Coming up, we've got fake trades across the Locked On NBA's network of local podcasts, including the Lakers really upending everything to build around Luka, and the Boston Celtics, the trading for Giannis. I'll have Matt and Haize judge these fake trades coming up on Locked On NBA. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Our Locked On local hosts are the heart and soul of this show. You hear them often, but during fake trade season, they get a little wild. I'm seeing trade machine tomfoolery all over the place, and we need to do something about it. So I've decided to form an expert tribunal, nay, a trade-bunal, featuring experts in the field of fake trades, Matt Moore and Haize, to judge some of these proposals. Are they innocent or guilty of major trade machine fraud? That's the question. Matt, is your gavel ready?
I am ready. Let's do that. I'm ready to pass judgment on these fools.
This is right in your wheelhouse. I can feel it. And Haize's petty wheelhouse. I can feel that too. This is going to be amazing. All right. Here's our first trade courtesy of today's episode of Locked On Lakers.
My big fake trade concept, and cannot emphasize this enough, emphasis on fake, although I do think it is at least reasonably grounded in some degree of reality in terms of what it could take to get the players the Lakers would acquire from Houston and Brooklyn, the two teams in this fake trade, but also what they get. The Rockets would get Austin Reeves, Dalton Knecht, Gabe Vincent, Shake Milton, and a 2031 first-round pick. The Nets would get Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, Cam Whitmore from Houston, and pick swaps 2 years from the Lakers, 2028 and 2030. And then the Lakers would get Jabari Smith Jr., Nick Claxton, Dylan Brooks. You end up with a bench of a presumably opted in or re-signed Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, Jordan Goodwin, who I would be very surprised if the Lakers did not retain unless he's traded, just because he's too inexpensive and I think he's an NBA player. Bronny, then whoever you would acquire with your taxpayer mid-level exception, either in my mind, it should be the best scorer available or the best backup center available.
Whew, Locked On Lakers turning over a significant portion of the Lakers roster with this 3-team trade. Matt, what do you think? Are they guilty or innocent of trade machine fraud?
This is a pretty good one. I will say that. This was pretty well, but he just tried to sneak it in there. Do you know the best player in this entire trade is Nick Claxton? And putting Nick Claxton next to Luka Doncic is absolutely terrifying. Why are the Rockets going to help out the Lakers in basically building the foundation of a team that's going to wind up being one of their key rivals? Why would they do that? The 2031 going to the Nets isn't bad, but here's the problem with the pick swaps, or going to the Rockets rather. The pick swaps going to the Nets is not enough to get them interested. Do you know why? Because the Lakers are still going to be good in 2028 and 2030 because Nico Harrison's a moron. So because of that, guilty. No way.
Haize.
I want Matt's a little too lenient. This is fraud. Like, come on now. The Lakers get Jabari Smith, Nick Claxton, and Dylan Brooks all in the same trade. Come on now. You already robbed the Dallas Mavericks, right? You did that. You got away with highway robbery. You mean to tell me you get everything? Come on now. No, this is major fraud. It's a well thought out trade. Make no mistake about it. It's really well thought out. I do like the balance that he tried to strike here, but no. Jabari Smith and Nick Claxton, just hand the Lakers a couple of titles. No, thank you.
Also, imagine the Rockets trying to be like, we got our star. Who? Austin Reeves. Come on now.
Well, so this is an example, I think, of the creativity that it is going to take for the Los Angeles Lakers to build around Luka while at the same time paying LeBron James a lot of money. Do you think it's likely that they go down this path of finding some complex 3 or 4 team trade that really upends half the second unit? Or do you think it's more likely they'll look at one player or 2 players to make all this make sense?
I don't know that Pelinka has the relationships to pull off complicated deals. I also think if you're the Lakers, aren't you just kind of like, oh, just sit around and then like they'll just come to us and offer us Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, why would they not? We're the Lakers. Like at this point, I don't know why the Lakers have any incentive to try and work hard because they can just sit around and then gold will fall into their lap.
I was the guy that for the first couple of months of this podcast kept saying, nobody's going to bail the Lakers out. Nico Harrison said, hey, hold my coffee. So I don't know what's going to happen here. They can, like, their best bet is to do kind of what the Dallas Mavericks tried to do. Well, when they got Gafford and they got PJ Washington, break up some of the bigger contracts and get role players that fit what you're trying to do and bring exactly what you do. Matter of fact, PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford could help this Lakers team pretty significantly. So there you go.
All right, so the first trade, guilty on all charges. I don't even get to break the tie. Both Matt and Haize declare fraud on the Locked On Lakers podcast. Sorry, guys. Sorry, the Kamenetsky brothers. Let's get to the next trade on the docket. Our local hosts have been sending Giannis Antetokounmpo all over the country. Poor guy. He's tired. But if Giannis doesn't like change, he might not like change. How about a different shade of green? Here's John Corrales of Locked On Celtics.
Trading for Giannis, Boston trading for Giannis, I believe gets messy unless you include Jalen Brown. And then they're going to have to expand things out. Like Jalen plus not that many picks, for Giannis at this point. Like Giannis is still great and, a MVP, like he was third in the MVP voting. You're trading for a guy who's still in his prime, but at the tail end of his prime versus Jalen, who is just entering his prime. There's a little bit of risk involved. Giannis is significantly better than Jalen, but not so much better that it's Brown in a huge haul of picks and, you got to get a bunch of players and make it crazy. I think the Celtics could do it. I don't know that they will, but it's out there.
The Honorable Matt Moore has been rubbing his forehead for so long during that clip that I think he's going to give himself some kind of rash. Matt's, fraud, innocent, guilty. It seems like John Corrales a little flippant about how many picks would have to flip in a deal for Giannis.
I award you no points. May God have mercy on your soul, John Corrales. The arrogance of Celtics fans. The arrogance. Oh, I mean, you are getting Jalen Brown. Woo! Come on now, man. Look, you won a title in 2024 because everybody got hurt. Congratulations. Good job. Nobody thinks of Jalen Brown like that, and I love Jalen Brown. It's Giannis freaking Antetokounmpo. He is at worst the third best player in the league. He is a monster defensively. He is a tank. He is relentless in scoring. The Greek freak, what are we doing? Of course you have to send Jalen Brown and other assets and picks. That's how this works. It is not about what the market value is. It is about what you have to offer. And you have to offer a reasonable amount that they feel like you were operating in good faith here. It's fine. The Celtics don't have to do it. They could run it back and just try and shoot some pull-up threes and hope they go in next year like they did this year. But otherwise, no. This is absolutely reprehensible, John. I sentenced you to 3 months probation from the trade machine.
Guilty. Throw away the key. John Corrales.
You want to know what I want to do with this offer, Doug?
What?
Kill.
Kill.
All right, so John Corrales, your fate lies in the hands of the Honorable Haize. Throw yourself upon the mercy of Haize's court. Oh, he's got the Roman, what is that, like the Roman emperor thumb. Is it thumbs up or thumbs down, Haize? Oh, thumbs down. Throw him to the Lions.
Come on, Corrales. Like we already went through the best win of the season 25 times last year. Now you're saying Jalen Brown and some draft, like just casually, some draft capital. We'll just throw him a couple of heavily protected first round picks. Like I get it. And Jalen Brown is a talent. If you were to move Jalen Brown, you should be expecting to get some amazing talent or capital, whatever it is, back. But just to casually be like, Jalen Brown and some draft assets there to get Giannis and get yourself another title. Like, come on now. No, like, I get it. This is why I don't come up. You will never find me coming up with fake trades on Locked On Bulls because it's hard not to do it and not lean it towards in the favor of your team. But that's exactly what this was, man. Come on.
I've got an idea. It might be a dangerous idea, but I've got an idea because I want to keep doing this segment, and I don't know if the local host will provide us enough fodder in the weeks to come. I'm confident they will, but I don't know for sure. So I think we should hand this off to the YouTube commenters. YouTube.com/@LockedOnNBA. Submit your sickest, your most demented trade machine ideas, and I will put them, or maybe you think they're great ideas. That would be even better. And I will submit them to this tribunal of Matt Moore and Haize and see what they think. So let us know. We've got a few minutes left here. It is a Friday, and most Fridays we try to do our favorite things of the week. We've got some time here. So Matt, Haize, let me know. What are your favorite things this week? Haize, we'll start with you.
My best friend is a Knicks fan, born and raised in Queens. He's been a Knicks fan his whole life. And we have a tradition when either one of our teams are in the playoffs, which we don't get to do a lot, right? We get on FaceTime. We watch the game basically together. To see his face as the New York Knicks have lost several leads in this series has been great. So the petty side of me, it's been great to see my best friend, my brother, the godfather of my children, go through so much pain this week with the New York Knicks. It's been great.
Fantastic.
You are a sadist ever. It is amazing. I love it. My favorite thing this week for an early birthday present, my wife got me a complete opened set of the 1993-94 Upper Deck card set. And so I've been basically turning back into a 12-year-old this entire week, going through these cards, including Hakeem Olajuwon's Defensive Player of the Year card.
Let's get a close-up. Let's get a show me that again. Let's get a close-up. Oh, that's a beautiful thing right there. Woo.
That's
yummy.
Yeah, I've also got cards commemorating the Charlotte Hornets' first playoff series win, Doug, because I was a huge Alonzo Mourning guy. So I've got that one up behind me over here as well. Great gift. I'm really appreciative of my wife for that. It has absolutely made my week.
The sad thing is you could have a card commemorating their last postseason win, which was against the Orlando Magic in 2002, and it still be considered vintage. That is the very sad thing about the current state of the Charlotte Hornets franchise. My favorite thing of the week was courtesy. I heard this on Locked On NBA Game Night, but I think it came from NBA's Reddit. Someone went to Etsy and found a witch, someone who practices witchcraft, and for $8.50, purchased a spell to be cast on the Indiana Pacers in order for the Knicks to win Game 5, which got me to thinking I need to find a good witch like a Glenda to cast some good vibes for the Charlotte Hornets so that maybe they can win another playoff series in my lifetime.
That would like backfire somehow, and it's like the Hornets are great, but they're led by like the worst human being imaginable, like terrible.
No, absolutely.
Or you play basketball like the Celtics. That's the alternative here. Is like you have to play basketball like the Celtics.
No, I would definitely go to Etsy looking for a good witch and end up with a monkey paw. Like that's what would happen, and the Charlotte Hornets would continue to suffer, but hopefully not. Well, we'll see. I'll throw one more in here. Reggie Miller, during the broadcast last night, there was a foul that was being reviewed for whether it was flagrant or not. It didn't look very flagrant, and Reggie Miller said, "I've been kissed harder than that," which brings up just so many questions, follow-up questions that were not asked on the broadcast. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait.
Just moving right along.
All right. Thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen. If you like what you heard today, make sure you are subscribed wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube. Thanks so much to Matt and Haize for their expertise every single day. For your second listen, check out Locked On NBA Big Board. NBA draft expert Rafael Barlow reacts to every workout, interview, and rumor leading up to the NBA draft. Find Locked On NBA Big Board on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Enjoy our beautiful game this weekend. Be kind to each other. We'll see you right back here next week on Locked On NBA.